The Zephyrian Empire, a beacon of advanced technology and peaceful diplomacy, faced its darkest hour. Princess Nyla, heir to the throne and symbol of hope for her people, found herself trapped in a nightmare of betrayal and chaos. The sleek, silver starship Celestial Harmony shuddered under the relentless assault of enemy fire, its once impenetrable shields flickering weakly against the onslaught. Nyla's emerald eyes widened in horror as she watched her loyal guards fall one by one, victims of the traitors who had infiltrated her inner circle. Her mission to forge alliances with neighboring star systems had been a ruse, a carefully orchestrated trap set by those she once trusted. The princess's long, iridescent hair whipped around her face as she ducked behind a control panel, narrowly avoiding a blast of searing energy. "Your Highness, we must evacuate immediately." Captain Thorn, her most trusted advisor, shouted over the cacophony of alarms and explosions. His weathered face was etched with determination as he fought to protect his charge. Nyla hesitated, her heart torn between her duty to her people and the instinct for survival. "I can't abandon them, Thorn. There must be another way." The captain's expression softened for a moment before hardening with resolve. "The best way to save our people is to ensure your survival, Princess. You are the rightful heir, the only one who can unite the loyalists and reclaim the throne." With a heavy heart, Nyla nodded, allowing Thorn to guide her towards the escape pods. As they ran through the corridors of the dying ship, the princess caught glimpses of the battle raging outside through the viewports. The once proud Zephyrian fleet was in disarray, outgunned and outmaneuvered by the rebel forces led by the treacherous General Drax. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the ship, sending Nyla and Thorn sprawling to the floor. The captain quickly regained his footing, pulling the princess up with him. "We're almost there, Your Highness. Just a little further." They rounded the corner to find the escape pod bay in chaos. Crew members scrambled to launch the remaining pods, their faces masks of fear and desperation. Thorn pushed through the crowd, clearing a path for Nyla. "This way, Princess," he shouted, gesturing towards the last functioning pod. As Nyla approached the pod, a chilling laugh echoed through the bay. She turned to see General Drax himself, his cybernetic eye glowing with malevolent glee. "Did you really think you could escape, little princess?" he sneered, raising his weapon. In that moment, Captain Thorn made a decision that would change the course of history. With lightning-fast reflexes, he shoved Nyla into the escape pod and slammed the launch button. "Long live the true heir," he cried as the pod's doors sealed shut. The last thing Nyla saw before the pod rocketed away from the Celestial Harmony was Thorn's brave smile as he turned to face Drax, buying her the precious seconds she needed to escape. Tears streamed down Nyla's face as she watched her home, her ship, and her people grow smaller in the pod's viewport. The Celestial Harmony, once a symbol of Zephyrian might, erupted in a brilliant explosion that lit up the starry void. As the escape pod hurtled through space, its navigation systems damaged in the chaos, Nyla fought to regain her composure. She was alone now, the fate of her entire civilization resting on her shoulders. The pod's computer chimed, indicating that it had locked onto the nearest habitable planet for emergency landing. Nyla's eyes widened as she read the planet's designation, Earth. It was a world she had only heard whispers of, a planet of primitive beings who had yet to achieve interstellar travel. As the pod began its descent through Earth's atmosphere, the princess steeled herself for what was to come. She may have lost everything, but Nyla was determined to survive, to find allies in this strange new world, and to one day return to reclaim her throne. Little did she know that her arrival on Earth would set in motion a series of events that would change the fate of two civilizations forever. The escape pod streaked across the night sky like a falling star, leaving a trail of fire in its wake. As it plummeted towards the Earth's surface, Nyla gripped the safety harness tightly, her knuckles turning white with the strain. The pod's heat shields glowed red-hot, protecting its precious cargo from the intense friction of re-entry. Alarms blared within the cramped confines of the pod, warning of the imminent impact. Nyla closed her eyes, silently reciting the ancient Zephyrian prayer for safe passage. With a deafening crash, the pod slammed into the ground, carving a deep furrow in the earth as it skidded to a halt in a remote forest. For several long moments, all was silent save for the hiss of cooling metal and the gentle crackle of small fires ignited by the pod's landing. Then, with a groan of protesting metal, the pod's hatch slowly opened, releasing a cloud of steam into the cool night air. Nyla emerged from the wreckage, her once pristine royal attire now torn and smudged with soot. She took a tentative step onto the alien soil, her legs shaky from the ordeal. The air was thick with unfamiliar scents, rich earth, fragrant pine, and the lingering ozone from the pod's fiery descent. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, Nyla marveled at the lush vegetation surrounding her. The trees of this world were unlike anything she had seen before, their branches reaching towards a sky filled with unfamiliar constellations. A cool breeze rustled through the leaves, carrying with it the distant sounds of Earth's nocturnal creatures. Reality quickly set in as Nyla assessed her situation. She was alone on an alien world, with no way to contact her people or call for help. The escape pod, designed only for short-term survival, had been damaged beyond repair in the crash. She would have to rely on her wits and training to survive in this hostile environment. Nyla's hand instinctively went to the small pouch at her waist, relieved to find that her personal translator device had survived the impact. It was a sophisticated piece of Zephyrian technology, capable of analyzing and translating any language it encountered. She activated the device, its soft blue glow providing a small measure of comfort in the darkness. As she contemplated her next move, a distant rumbling caught her attention. It was unlike any sound she had heard before, a rhythmic, mechanical noise that grew steadily louder. Nyla's heart raced as she realized it must be some form of Earth vehicle approaching her location. Torn between the desire to make contact and the need for caution, Nyla quickly gathered what few supplies she could salvage from the pod. She had no way of knowing whether the approaching humans would be friend or foe, but she knew she couldn't risk being captured or exposed before she understood more about this world. With one last glance at the smoldering wreckage of her escape pod, Nyla slipped into the shadows of the forest. She moved swiftly and silently, her royal training serving her well as she navigated the unfamiliar terrain. The sounds of the Earth vehicle grew louder, accompanied now by voices speaking in a language her translator was struggling to decipher. As she crested a small hill, Nyla caught her first glimpse of human technology. A large, boxy vehicle with flashing lights had stopped near her crash site. Figures in uniform moved about, their voices urgent and excited. Nyla's translator finally managed to process their words. "Never seen anything like it, sir. Definitely not one of ours. Secure the perimeter. I want every inch of this site searched. Whatever came down here, we need to find it before anyone else does." Nyla's breath caught in her throat. These humans were searching for her, and she had no way of knowing their intentions. She needed time to observe, to learn, and to plan her next move. With a silent prayer to her ancestors for guidance, Nyla retreated deeper into the forest, determined to survive and find a way to save her people, no matter the cost. As the first light of dawn began to paint the sky in hues of pink and gold, Nyla found herself facing an uncertain future on a strange and wondrous world. Little did she know that her arrival had set in motion a chain of events that would forever change the course of both human and Zephyrian history. As dawn broke over the dense forest, Sergeant Olivia Reeves led her team through the underbrush, their footsteps muffled by years of military training. The crash site loomed ahead, a twisted mass of metal that gleamed in the early morning light. Olivia's heart raced with anticipation and a hint of fear. This was no ordinary wreckage, it was clearly of extraterrestrial origin. "Fan out and secure the perimeter," Olivia ordered, her voice barely above a whisper. Her team moved with practiced precision, their weapons at the ready. As they approached the crash site, a faint groan caught Olivia's attention. She signaled her team to halt and cautiously moved forward. There, half buried beneath a piece of twisted metal, lay a figure unlike anything Olivia had ever seen. The alien was humanoid in shape, but its skin shimmered with an iridescent glow. Long, silvery hair framed a face that was both alien and strangely beautiful. As Olivia knelt beside the injured creature, its eyes fluttered open, revealing irises that swirled with colors she couldn't even name. "It's okay," Olivia said softly, holstering her weapon. "We're here to help." The alien's eyes widened in fear, but as it tried to move, pain contorted its features. Olivia quickly assessed the situation. The alien was trapped, and from the looks of it, severely injured. "Medic," she called out, and Private Chen rushed forward with his kit. As Chen worked to stabilize the alien, Olivia noticed a small device on its wrist. It pulsed with a soft blue light, and as she watched, it began to emit a series of chirps and whistles. Suddenly, the alien spoke, its voice melodious but filled with urgency. "Please, help me. They're coming." Olivia blinked in surprise. The device must be some kind of universal translator. "Who's coming?" she asked, her training kicking in despite the surreal situation. "The usurpers," the alien replied, its voice growing weaker. "They destroyed my ship, tried to kill me. I am Zara, Crown Princess of the Lumina Empire. And I need your help." Olivia's mind raced. This was far beyond anything she had been trained for. But as she looked into Zara's eyes, she saw fear, pain, and a desperate plea for help. In that moment, Olivia made a decision that would change the course of human history. "We'll protect you, Princess Zara," Olivia said firmly. "But we need to move. Now." With careful precision, Olivia and her team worked to free Zara from the wreckage. As they lifted her onto a makeshift stretcher, the sound of engines filled the air. Olivia looked up to see several sleek, black ships descending through the atmosphere. "Those aren't ours," Private Rodriguez muttered, voicing what they all knew. "Move out," Olivia ordered. "We need to get the princess to safety." As they retreated into the dense forest, Olivia's mind whirled with questions. Who were these usurpers? Why were they after Zara? And how would Earth handle first contact with not one, but two alien factions? The team moved swiftly through the underbrush, the sound of pursuit growing ever closer. Zara drifted in and out of consciousness, murmuring in her alien language. Olivia found herself oddly protective of the alien princess, a fierce determination growing within her to keep Zara safe. They reached a small clearing where their transport vehicle was hidden. As they loaded Zara into the back, the first energy blasts sizzled past them, scorching the trees. "Return fire!" Olivia shouted, taking cover behind the vehicle. Her team responded immediately, their weapons blazing against the unseen enemy. As the firefight intensified, Olivia made a split-second decision. "Rodriguez, Chen, get the princess out of here. Head for Base Echo. We'll hold them off and meet you there." Chen nodded grimly, jumping into the driver's seat while Rodriguez secured Zara in the back. The vehicle roared to life and sped away, leaving Olivia and the rest of her team to face the alien threat. The forest erupted in chaos as energy weapons clashed with human firearms. Olivia's team fought with everything they had, their determination and ingenuity matching the advanced technology of their opponents. As the battle raged, Olivia caught glimpses of their attackers through the trees. They were tall, imposing figures clad in sleek armor that seemed to absorb the light around them. Their movements were fluid and deadly, but Olivia's team held their ground. Hours seemed to pass in the span of minutes. Olivia's arms ached from the recoil of her weapon, and her ears rang with the constant barrage of gunfire and energy blasts. But slowly, surely, they began to push the alien forces back. As the last of the attackers retreated, Olivia allowed herself a moment of relief. They had won this skirmish, but she knew the war was far from over. With a heavy heart, she gathered her team and began the long trek to Base Echo. The future was uncertain, filled with dangers they could scarcely imagine. But as Olivia thought of the alien princess they had saved, she felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps this unlikely alliance between a human soldier and an alien royal would be the key to saving not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The dense forest echoed with the sound of pursuit as Sergeant Olivia Reeves and Princess Zara raced through the underbrush. Their hearts pounded in sync with their footsteps, adrenaline coursing through their veins. The alien princess, still weakened from her crash landing, stumbled over a root. Olivia caught her arm, steadying her without breaking stride. "We're almost there," Olivia whispered, her keen eyes scanning the terrain ahead. "Just a little further." As they crested a hill, a small clearing came into view. Hidden beneath camouflage netting was their salvation, a rugged all-terrain vehicle. Olivia helped Zara into the passenger seat before leaping behind the wheel. The engine roared to life, drowning out the shouts of their pursuers. Olivia gunned the throttle, and the ATV surged forward, kicking up a spray of dirt and leaves. She navigated the rough terrain with practiced ease, weaving between trees and over rocky outcroppings. Zara clung to her seat, her alien features a mix of fear and exhilaration. As they put distance between themselves and their pursuers, Olivia allowed herself a moment to breathe. She glanced at her alien companion, still marveling at the strange twist of fate that had brought them together. Zara's iridescent skin shimmered in the dappled sunlight, her otherworldly beauty a stark contrast to their rugged surroundings. "Thank you," Zara said, her melodious voice barely audible over the engine. "I owe you my life." Olivia nodded, her focus returning to the path ahead. "We're not out of the woods yet, Princess. But I promise you, we'll find a way to get you home." As they emerged from the forest onto a dirt road, Olivia's mind raced with possibilities. She knew they couldn't return to her base, it was likely compromised. They needed a safe haven, somewhere off the grid where they could regroup and plan their next move. An idea struck her. "I know a place," she said, a glimmer of hope in her voice. "An old friend, someone we can trust. It's a bit of a journey, but it might be our best shot." Zara nodded, her trust in the human soldier growing with each passing moment. As they sped down the road, the unlikely pair began to form a bond that would reshape the future of both their worlds. Hours passed as Olivia navigated backroads and hidden trails, always alert for signs of pursuit. As the sun began to set, they approached a ramshackle cabin nestled in a remote valley. Smoke curled from the chimney, a welcoming sight after their harrowing journey. Olivia brought the ATV to a stop, her hand instinctively checking her weapon. "Wait here," she instructed Zara. "I'll make sure it's safe." As Olivia approached the cabin, the door swung open. A grizzled man with a salt and pepper beard stepped out, a shotgun cradled in his arms. His eyes widened in recognition. "Olivia? What in the blazes are you doing here?" "Hello, Jack," Olivia said, her voice a mix of relief and urgency. "We need your help. And I promise, it's one hell of a story." Jack's eyes darted to the ATV, where Zara sat watching the exchange. His jaw dropped as he took in her alien features. "I'll be damned," he muttered. "Looks like you weren't kidding about that story." Inside the cabin, over steaming mugs of coffee, Olivia recounted their adventure. Jack listened intently, his expression shifting from disbelief to concern to determination. Zara, still wary but growing more comfortable, added details about her people and the conflict that had brought her to Earth. As the night wore on, the trio began to formulate a plan. Jack, a former intelligence operative with a network of contacts, offered to reach out to trusted allies. Olivia's military expertise and Zara's knowledge of alien technology would be crucial in the days to come. "We're not just fighting for Zara's people," Olivia said, her voice filled with resolve. "If these invaders succeed here, Earth could be next. We need to stop them, no matter the cost." Zara placed her hand on Olivia's arm, a gesture of solidarity that transcended their different species. "Together," she said, "we will prevail." As dawn broke, Casting golden light through the cabin windows, the unlikely allies prepared for the challenges ahead. They knew the road would be difficult, fraught with danger and uncertainty. But in that moment, united by a common purpose, they felt a glimmer of hope. The fate of two worlds now rested in their hands, and they were determined not to fail. The abandoned military base buzzed with activity as Commander Zoe Blackwood and her team prepared for their most dangerous mission yet. The alien Princess Nira stood beside her, her iridescent skin shimmering in the dim light of the command center. They had been planning this operation for weeks, and now the time had come to strike at the heart of the enemy. "Are you sure about this, Nira?" Zoe asked, her eyes scanning the holographic map of the alien mothership. "Once we're inside, there's no turning back." Nira nodded, her expression resolute. "My people are suffering under Vex's tyranny. We must end this, no matter the cost." Zoe turned to address her team, a mix of hardened soldiers and brilliant scientists. "Listen up, everyone. This is our one shot at taking down Vex and his forces. We infiltrate the mothership, disable their defenses, and give our fleet the opening they need to strike. Failure is not an option." As the team geared up, Zoe couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. Months ago, humans and aliens were on the brink of war. Now, they stood united against a common enemy. The bond between her and Nira had grown strong, forged in the heat of battle and shared hardships. Under the cover of darkness, Zoe's team boarded a stolen alien shuttle. The plan was simple but dangerous: use Nira's access codes to breach the mothership's defenses, then fight their way to the central control room. As they approached the massive vessel looming in Earth's orbit, tension filled the air. Approaching docking bay, the pilot announced, his voice steady despite the stakes. "Transmitting access codes now." Seconds stretched into eternity as they waited for a response. Finally, the comms crackled to life. "Access granted. Welcome back, Princess Nira." A collective sigh of relief filled the shuttle as they glided into the docking bay. But their respite was short-lived. As soon as they disembarked, alarms blared throughout the ship. "They know we're here," Zoe growled, raising her weapon. "Stick to the plan. Move fast, stay together." The team fought their way through the winding corridors of the mothership, facing waves of Vex's loyal soldiers. Nira's knowledge of the ship's layout proved invaluable as they navigated the labyrinthine structure. Zoe and Nira moved in perfect sync, covering each other's blind spots and taking down enemies with practiced efficiency. As they neared the central control room, resistance intensified. Vex's elite guards put up a fierce fight, but Zoe's team was driven by a cause greater than themselves. Inch by bloody inch, they pushed forward. Finally, they reached the massive doors of the control room. "Plant the charges," Zoe ordered. "We're blowing this thing wide open." The explosion rocked the ship, and through the smoke and debris, Zoe and her team charged in. There, surrounded by banks of alien technology, stood Vex himself. The tyrant's eyes narrowed as he saw Nira among the human soldiers. "So, the prodigal princess returns," Vex sneered. "And with her pet humans, no less." Nira stepped forward, her voice ringing with authority. "It's over, Vex. Surrender now, and face justice for your crimes." Vex's laughter was cold and cruel. "Justice? I am justice. I am the future of our people. You're nothing but a relic of a weak past." With lightning speed, Vex drew his weapon. But Zoe was faster. Her shot caught Vex in the shoulder, spinning him around. The control room erupted into chaos as both sides opened fire. In the midst of the firefight, Nira made her way to the central console. Her fingers flew over the alien controls, disabling the ship's defenses and weapons systems. "Zoe," she called out. "It's done." Zoe nodded, tapping her comm link. "Command, this is Blackwood. Mothership defenses are down. You're clear to engage." Outside, the combined human and alien fleet launched their assault. With its defenses crippled, the once mighty mothership was now vulnerable. As the ship shuddered under the barrage, Vex made a desperate lunge for Nira. But Zoe was there, intercepting him with a bone-crunching tackle. They grappled on the floor, trading blows as the world exploded around them. With a final, mighty effort, Zoe pinned Vex to the ground. "It's over," she panted. "Your reign of terror ends here." As Vex was secured, Zoe helped Nira to her feet. They shared a moment of silent understanding. They had done it. Against all odds, humans and aliens had come together to overthrow a tyrant and forge a new future. The mothership, no longer under Vex's control, began its descent to Earth. As Zoe's team made their way to the escape pods, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. This victory belonged not just to her or to Nira, but to all those who dared to dream of a universe united in peace. As their pod streaked towards Earth, Zoe turned to Nira. "So, what now, Princess?" Nira smiled, her eyes reflecting the blue of Earth growing larger in the viewport. "Now, Commander, we build the future, together." The aftermath of Vex's defeat brought a whirlwind of change. Earth and Nira's homeworld, Lumina, found themselves thrust into an unprecedented era of cooperation and cultural exchange. Zoe Blackwood, once a simple soldier, now stood at the forefront of this new interstellar alliance. In the weeks following the battle, Zoe and Nira worked tirelessly to bridge the gap between their two worlds. They faced skepticism and fear on both sides, but their unwavering commitment to peace slowly began to win hearts and minds. "It won't be easy," Zoe said during a joint address to Earth's United Nations and Lumina's High Council. "Our worlds are different in many ways. But we've proven that when we stand together, we can overcome any challenge." Nira nodded in agreement. "Our victory over Vex was just the beginning. Now, we have the opportunity to build something truly remarkable, a future where our peoples learn from each other, grow together, and explore the stars as one." The first steps were small but significant. Exchange programs were established, allowing humans and Luminans to study and work on each other's worlds. Scientists from both planets collaborated on groundbreaking research, combining Earth's innovative spirit with Lumina's advanced technology. Zoe found herself thrust into the role of diplomat, shuttling between Earth and Lumina to smooth over misunderstandings and foster cooperation. It was a far cry from her days as a combat officer, but she embraced the challenge with characteristic determination. One evening, as she stood on the balcony of the newly constructed Earth Lumina embassy, Nira joined her. The alien princess, now Queen of Lumina, looked out at the glittering cityscape of New Washington, a marvel of human and Luminan architecture. "Sometimes I can hardly believe how far we've come," Nira said softly. "Just a year ago, I was a fugitive, and our peoples were on the brink of war." Zoe smiled, remembering the harrowing days of their first meeting. "And now look at us. Building cities together, sharing knowledge, exploring the galaxy side by side." But their moment of reflection was interrupted by an urgent call. Admiral Chen, head of the Joint Earth-Lumina Defense Force, appeared on a holographic display. "Commander Blackwood, Your Majesty," Chen said, his face grave. "We've detected an unknown fleet approaching the outer reaches of our solar system. They're not responding to hails, and their technology, it's like nothing we've ever seen." Zoe and Nira exchanged a look of concern. Their alliance was about to face its first true test. "Assemble the Defense Council," Nira ordered. "We need to prepare for all possibilities."